Hi, I'm Paul Formella at Perfect Form, and I'm here today to take you through a demo of our Corporate Transparency Act compliance software platform and client portal, specifically as it relates to law firms, CPA firms, other professional advisory companies, and anyone else that will need to file BOI reports for more than 10 entities. We also have on our website a demo video for business owners with less than 10 entities, which video is also applicable to the portal that individual beneficial owners and company applicants will have access to. And if you'd like a live demo of either of our portals, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to schedule a time. Onboarding with us is simple and straightforward. All we need is the name and email address of each individual at your organization that should be given portal access. They'll receive an email from us inviting us to create a password and access their portal for the first time. And going forward from there, you can access your portal via this Firm Portal Login button in the upper right-hand corner on any page of our website. Once logged into your portal, you'll land on your dashboard. Let's discuss first the two methods by which you're able to onboard new entities with us. The first method is for onboarding a single entity. You'll click this Create New Report button, and that'll bring you to our single entity intake form. You'll provide the information for the entity itself and the entity's beneficial owners and company applicants. A couple items I want to touch on here when it comes to adding beneficial owners and company applicants. If you're adding an individual that's already been onboarded with us, we don't want to make you have to provide that individual's personal information again. For example, if they don't have a FinCEN ID. So simply click this Repeat Beneficial Owner, or in the case of company applicants, Repeat Company Applicant checkbox, and you'll then be asked to provide just their individual profile unique ID. This is a 6-digit ID number that you'll find for that individual within your portal in the Individual Profiles module, which lists all of the beneficial owners and company applicants that have been onboarded with us. You'll see in this second column their 6-digit unique ID. That's what you'll provide here. The second item I want to touch on is this Incomplete Beneficial Owner Information checkbox, again, which also exists on the company applicant side. If you're adding an individual and don't have all of their personal information, no problem. We're happy to reach out to you, or reach out to them rather, on your behalf and obtain that information. Simply check this box and then you'll provide their email and their name, and you'll then be able to click Done here and submit this form without providing any of their other information. And that'll kick off a process on our end whereby we reach out to that individual, letting them know we've been engaged to complete the BOI report for this entity, providing them access to their own private portal, and directing them to complete the information that we need from them in order to get the BOI report completed and filed. We'll then continue to follow up with that individual until we have the information we need from them. Once you click Submit, this form will come to us for processing. We're going to actively review it, looking for internal inconsistencies, obvious mistakes, or potential mistakes. We'll then create and produce and send to you an error report. Once we're all comfortable that the information is correct, we'll then have our software ingest that submission, and you'll see the information that's been onboarded with us reflected in your portal, which we'll come back to in a moment. Let's turn now to how to onboard multiple entities with us at once. To do that, you'll click this Work Drive folder button, which is going to bring you to your secure folder within our platform. Within that folder, you'll see this dynamic data import template saved. This is a dynamic Excel template that we've created in order to streamline and optimize onboarding multiple entities at once. There are two tabs. You'll see this Entities Import tab for providing the information we need for the entities themselves, and then this BOs and CAs import tab for providing the information we need for the beneficial owners and company applicants associated with those entities. The template is dynamic in the sense that fields we no longer need based on information you've provided in previous fields are going to be grayed out. The easiest place to see an example of that is if you provide a FinCEN ID for an individual. You'll see when a FinCEN ID is provided, the rest of the fields for that individual are grayed out. Once you've completed the template for as many entities as you'd like, simply re-upload it to your Work Drive folder, and we will be immediately notified, and we'll go through that same process of reviewing it, creating an error report, and once we're all comfortable that the information is correct, we'll have our software ingest that submission, and the information you've submitted will be reflected in your portal. Looking back now at your dashboard, in this BOI Reports section is where you'll see a list of the most recently onboarded entities with us. You'll see the name of the entity, the stage that it's in, the date of the most recent change, a yes, no, whether that entity is exempt. We are happy to store exempt entities, and a yes no whether that report's been filed with FinCEN. To see a full list of the entities onboarded with us, click this BOI Reports tab, and that'll bring you to your full list. The stage will always start with analysis when we initially onboard the entity. It'll move to waiting for information if we've had to create an error report and send it to you for clarification. And then once we've successfully completed and filed the BOI report for the entity, it'll move to this BOI report filing successful tag. There are a couple other ways where you can see evidence that the BOI report has been successfully filed. If you click into the entity itself, you'll see this BOIR ID field. You'll see that populated when the report has been successfully filed. This is the unique ID number that we get back from FinCEN for every successful filing that we do. The other place you'll see that evidence is back within your work drive folder. You'll see this BOIR submission transcripts folder, which is where we're going to save every transcript we get back from FinCEN for each successful filing. You can download these, send them to your clients, send them to anyone else that may need them. All of the transcripts for all of the submissions we've ever done for you will be saved in that folder. Going back to the BOI Reports module, if you click into any entity, you'll see the information that we have on file for that entity, along with the individual company applicants and beneficial owners that are associated with that entity. So this view is going to give you a nice snapshot of everything we have on file for that entity. If you've got a long list of entities and you want to be able to sort them to be able to look at only specific entities, you can do that as well by clicking this magnifying glass in the upper right and filtering by any number of fields. For example, within each entity, you'll be able to complete it with a client name, a project name, a responsible person name, and you can then filter the list of entities by those fields among others as you'd like, which again, as your list of entities gets longer, can be a very helpful feature to have. Looking back at your dashboard now, you've also got a notes section. This is a section whereby you can communicate with us securely for any questions or requests for changes to entity information that may be too sensitive for email, or you just may find it more convenient to communicate here. Simply leave a note for us. We're immediately notified and we'll respond and then act accordingly. It's worth noting that within your portal, any action you take, we are immediately notified of. So you don't need to feel like if you need to change information or leave a note for us that you also need to follow up with an email. We're constantly notified of any changes you make, and we're monitoring those, and we'll respond and act accordingly. So you don't need to feel like you need to make a change in your portal and then also notify us either by calling or via email. The change is usually going to be pretty straightforward, and we won't need to ask you for clarification, but if we do, you can trust that we'll reach out to you for that. Let's touch now on ongoing compliance. As you well know, if any previously reported information for any of your entities changes, other than information for company applicants, we have 30 days to complete and file an updated BOI report with FinCEN. There are a couple different ways we ask that you notify us of changes to information on file for your entities and their associated beneficial owners and company applicants. The first is you can simply pop into this notes section, leave a note of a change, requesting a change that needs to be made to one of your entities or one of your beneficial owners or company applicants, and we're happy to make it for you. You can also make changes yourself. So within the individual profiles module, if you needed to change the information on file for an individual, simply click into that individual's profile, click edit, change any information on file that you'd like. Let's say Connor Thor Bjornsson has moved, change his address, click update. That's then going to kick off a process in our software platform where we will complete and file BOI reports for all of the entities that Connor is associated with as a beneficial owner or company applicant. Same idea on the entity side. Click BOI reports, click into the entity itself, click edit, change any information you'd like on file for that entity, click update, and we're then immediately notified and will act accordingly, typically by completing and filing an updated BOI report. If you'd like to add a new beneficial owner to an entity, you'll click this Add New Individual Profile button. And this will bring you to a short intake form where you will provide the information for that individual along with the entities that they should be associated with, and click Submit. Once we process that submission, that addition will then be reflected within your portal. If you need to disassociate a beneficial owner from an entity, simply leave a note for us here, and we will then make the change there as well and complete and file the updated BOI report. Last item I want to touch on is this firm groups module on the left-hand side. When your company is initially onboarded with us, you'll have one firm group, and that'll be 3 letters followed by 01. And each employee at your organization that's been given portal access will be included in that group. And you'll see that every time you create a new report via the single entity intake form, the firm group ID field would be populated with that 01 group. That means that when you submit this form, each employee at your organization with portal access is going to have visibility into that entity. Let's say though you've got one or more entities that are for a particularly sensitive client or a particularly sensitive deal, and you need to limit the number of individuals that have visibility into the information on file for that entity. You can simply let us know as many groups as you need created. Let us know the individuals that should be created within the group, and we will create those groups for you. And you can then use those firm group IDs in those report submissions, and those individuals in that group will be the only ones that have access to the information on file for that particular entity. That brings us to the end of the demo. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to reach out to us to ask any questions or discuss further or for a live demo, we'd love to hear from you anytime. You can reach us at support@perfectform.com. You can call us at 980-231-0232. My personal email is paul@perfectform.com. Again, we're happy to take you through a live demo if you'd like. We're happy to answer any questions you have. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to working with you. Thanks.